on November 14th, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear challenges to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. He passed that legislation back in March of 2010, and since then there have been a lot of legal challenges to the healthcare reform law, particularly here in Georgia. The U.S. Court of Appeals of the 11th Circuit, which is in Atlanta, invalidated the statute, holding that it pretty much could not require individuals to have health insurance. And so since then, it has come to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has agreed to look at the following issues: whether Congress has the power to enact individual mandate provisions under the healthcare law. If individual mandate is not constitutional, then to what extent the mandate can be severed from the remainder of the healthcare reform law. Current challenges to the mandate may be barred by a Tax Anti-Injunction Act, which prohibits a legal challenge to a tax before the tax is paid, and whether the healthcare expansion of Medicaid is unconstitutionally coercive to the states. So today, I really want to focus on the individual mandate, and essentially what the Obamacare legislation requires is that every individual has to have some form of healthcare insurance, whether you're getting it on your own, whether you're getting it through your employer, whether you're getting it through Medicaid, or whether you're getting it through some other means that is permissible under the federal administration or agencies that are enforcing this act. Every person has to have healthcare. So I have here with me JR, and I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Congress should be able to force people to have or to purchase healthcare insurance?
Well, I think they should. I feel as though everyone needs healthcare in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I know with the Obamacare plan that if you don't have insurance, moving forward towards 2014, I believe, that you will be receiving a $95 penalty for not having insurance. And that's going to be a periodic penalty that's going to be received. And I know he's made some changes, such as being under your parents' health care insurance. Normally it was to the age 22. He extended it to the age of 26 because you do have a lot of kids that take longer to finish college and to get their degree. So Obama, with his plan, he's doing his best to try to help anybody and everybody, shall I say, get health care insurance.
Well, one of the major critics is that you're basically forcing people to buy a commercial product. And if you're reasoning, regardless of your reasoning for it, at the end of the day, you're making everyone have to purchase something that is, not something that's just given within the government. So I guess the question is, at what point or to what extent is this going to end? I mean, if you're going to make us get health insurance, what's next? You're going to make us get every other form of, commercial products that we, may or may not want to expense the money to do. And so if we start now, then we set the precedent that we can do it later.
Well, I think that we need to have a standard welfare plan across the board for people who cannot afford it or that just don't have it. And maybe that could prevent some of the shopping around of different products, as you want to call it, when it comes to the insurance.
But what we're looking at right now is the individual mandate. So are you saying that you disagree with having this individual mandate that we purchase insurance?
I agree with it.
So why do you agree with it?
I agree because we all need insurance. Everybody needs health care.
We all have a lot of needs, but Congress is not forcing us to purchase whatever is needed to fulfill those needs. I mean, we all need food, but Congress isn't making us buy food every month or we all need shelter, and Congress isn't making us buy houses.
I understand that. But say something happens to you and you get into an accident or something really happens that's serious and you're getting carted off to the hospital, and once they hear you don't have insurance, are they not supposed to operate on you knowing that you could be in a life-threatening situation?
But I mean, it's just like we all have this, I guess it's supposed to be this inherent ability to make our own decisions. I mean, isn't that part of being in this country where we have our freedoms, because we can pick and choose what we feel is best for ourselves? But this act, to some degree, is telling us, I know what's best for you. And what's best for you is to have this insurance. Now, whether you agree that that is or is not what's best for you, do you not think there's a problem with someone, some entity, Congress, telling you what's best for you?
I don't think so, because I'm looking at the other side of it. Okay, if I get into an accident and I'm in a life-threatening situation and they know I don't have insurance and they just say, okay, well, he doesn't have insurance, so we're going to leave him for dead.
But that's the decision that you made.
But the first thing...
It's just like, to me, with, say pregnancy or say, sex. We know the consequences of sex. We know that it could lead to diseases, it can lead to pregnancy, and we also know the benefits of contraceptives despite not being 100%. But now Congress can't tell us you cannot have sex. I mean, that's not something that is within their peripheral to do. But now they're telling us, or they can't even mandate that we buy condoms. They can't mandate that we buy birth control, or that they can't put in whatever incentives or whatever legislation in place to make the decisions for us. So that's what this is doing. To me, you have the freedom to decide, I'm not going to have health insurance. Now, you understand the consequences of that is your own business, but you still have the freedom to make the choice.
But my thing is, who's at fault if I'm on my deathbed and I could be saved, but I don't have insurance because I chose not to?
Would it be you because you chose not to?
But I don't think people are going to look at it that way. They're going to look at it morally. Okay, well, morally, the doctor should have saved him anyway. Now, if we look at it from a moral standpoint, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to say, well, hey, I don't need to get insurance. They're going to take care of me anyway.
But to me, if we were looking at a moral standpoint, we would have been okay with the public option, which is, the government pretty much providing health care for everyone. To me, that is the moral thing. Because honestly, it's coming out of our money, right? Because we as taxpayers pay for whatever government incentives or whatever government programs are available to people. So that to me is the moral thing. But here we're saying, no, every person is going to have to purchase their own, not purchase for someone else, but purchase their own insurance. So to me, you're putting moral obligations out of it at that point, and you're forcing someone or making a decision for that person to have health insurance.
Well, I feel like if they're working, they should have some type of insurance, even the ones that aren't working. But at least if you're working, you should be mandated to get insurance.
Well, and I'm saying put aside whether or not you agree that health insurance is important. And I'm asking, do you think Congress should dictate the decisions that you make?
Well, I mean, to an extent, I mean, I just feel like we all need healthcare. And that's something that you cannot escape. That's something that you can't fight. It's gonna happen. Something is gonna happen. And if you're able to be prepared for it, you should be prepared for it. And there has to be some way that everybody can have insurance. Whether it's, purchased by us individually or by us having a certain standard health insurance plan to where people who don't have jobs can get. But we have to do something.